Opioid analgesics, otherwise known as opioids or narcotics. This is an exogenic compound that relieves the body through binding the opioid receptors throughout the brain, spinal cord, and other areas of the body. The diagram below shows exactly how that works. And under this classification are mainly just painkillers and prescribed drugs, but these are also the basis of other drugs like the depressant of heroin, which is modified from morphine. There are many different types. On the left column, there are the general terms for the medications, such as codeine, morphine, oxycodone. Those are three of the more known ones. And then there are street names for the illegal consumption. A lot of these are just play on words, like for hydrocodone, there's hydro, and then for oxycodone, there's roxy. There's various usage, such as tablets, which you would just swallow, also through needles, which is done more with morphine, and some can even be powderized. The production would be from the opium seed poppy flower, which is where opioid gets its name from opium, and it can also be synthetically created with chemicals. The cost ranges from $10 to $10,000. But there's also a social cost: happiness, friends, family, financial stability, and even good judgment. There are a lot of studies on this, as some would call it an epidemic in the United States. And so 20.5 million Americans had a substance use disorder, 2 million of those from prescription pain relievers. There are a lot of substances like alcohol and other drugs, but it seems like a majority of that is just from prescription and pain relievers. So, of the 52,000 drug overdose deaths that year, 20,000 were from narcotics, which is pain relievers. That is nearly the majority. 122,000 adolescents, which is like a 5-year range, have opioid addiction in the United States from that year. The rate in which these drugs were prescribed by verified health institutions doubled in adolescents from 1994 to 2007, and then women are more likely than men to be prescribed opioids given higher doses and become more dependent on them quicker. There are a lot of effects from short term and long term. So, short term would just be like side effects from normally taking painkillers, and this can be mostly just drowsiness and some itchiness, but there are a lot of others. And then long term would be sometimes from addiction, and it can go to like damage to the liver and reduction of immunity. The addiction research has found that people whose family history contains drug abuse has a higher likelihood of following that same pattern, but so far no genetic mark has been really found to prove such. But we can assume that if you have that family history, then you are bound to also be addicted to it. But it comes at various intensities. The withdrawal, there are a lot of symptoms of withdrawal, and it can even kill you if you do it unprofessionally, like without seeking professional help. There is a Narconon Rehabilitation Center in Cairo, or outside of downtown Cairo, and this is almost like a resort, a hotel type place where you can receive the help, but also like relax, and it makes it more of a welcoming atmosphere than just a stereotypical rehab sense. In the US, every state has their own set limit on how much a person can take in a specified amount of time, but there's also the trade of the drugs, which would be illegal, which would be like the black market situation. And usually, possession of non prescribed drugs has a lower consequence than selling them. And to put an actual value, the jail time can be 5 to 20 years, but if someone died from like you trading them to them, then it could be lifetime sentence. And if the case is less severe, you can still expect a fine of 250K to $5 million. Here are the sources that I used. Thank you for watching.